Hey y'all. So this is Damn It Done from DGG Presents, and on this episode, which is episode 3 of the Marionette Development Diary, I wanted to go over the show puppet. So Pinocchio was a big inspiration for the concept of the show puppet. I mean, you think about it, you have these traveling caravans with these show puppets that inspire children. And so when they awaken to life, they have mixed feelings about how they come to terms with the existence as theater property. In one vein, they really love being the center of attention, but they also have that deep intrinsic need to be free and to control their own destiny. Of all the marionette species, show puppets want to be independent and free, and they love being the center of attention, yeah, on adventures. And they really love the concept of being on the open road and seeing new things and expanding their experiences. With that, you have a lot of different interesting dynamics. Like the lure of the road and exposure of crowds is at the heart of most show puppets. It's that feeling, that excitement. But, just like anyone who searches for excitement, sometimes they appear wistful, distracted, they can be easily bored. They're a little bit more on the chaotic side because they're really constantly trying to push themselves in this turbulent need of always being in the center of attention, but also having that wanderlust and that need for freedom. So a lot of the personality traits I came up with for this kind of show puppet creature is, I have a problem chasing after things that are colorful and shiny because they're easily distracted and they really enjoy just living in the moment. I am more than just the show. Or just more than just the show. Or show puppet. I am the show itself. I act childish and have a habit of throwing tantrums if I don't get my way or I'm just bored. For some reason, I have no sense of the feeling of fear. As they awaken, they're more curiosity driven and more driven by the need of existing in the moment and feeling those experiences. That fear might actually be one of those emotions that they're not really exposed to or not sensitive to. I have a deep need to find out where I came from and who created me, maybe find my real family. And so there's some of those weird bonds that can happen when a marionette comes to life wanting to understand their origin. And a lot of times the need to find that closure or just knowing that maybe somebody out there is searching for them or a part of their family is something that could be a core drive of the show puppet. Show puppets are more flexible. Think of them kind of like the marionettes on the strings with the hinges and the wood and maybe even some leather that's connecting the pieces together to make this being. So they have a higher dexterity. So their dexterity score intrinsically increases by a +2. They also get some other interesting things like a nimble steps. So because they're more languid, lithe, they move a little bit more fluidly. They have a normal medium creature's walking speed, so their speed increases by 5 feet for a total of a speed of 30. They also get a proficient in acrobatics and performance because they enjoy being at the center of the show. And so, by very design, they are skilled at being flexible and showing off how they can move in such lithe manner and showing that and demonstrating that in ways that will captivate audiences. Like I said, a lot of the inspiration from Show Puppet came from the idea of Pinocchio and the almost kind of like that mix of the halfling need to go out and find adventure and feel that wanderlust and have that strange curiosity about things. And I think having a marionette party member that's like that goes out and search for adventure even when the party's trying to rest and may or may not bring the adventure back to the party, whether or not they like it, can create some interesting party dynamics. A lot of development in 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons and Dungeons and Dragons itself centers around the idea that this is a group of unlikely companions, and unlikely companions always have these weird inter-party conflicts that occur that make them feel more alive. And so having a show puppet that has this wanderlust or curiosity added to their personality can really make them an interesting character. And their need to perform brings them really in line with like a rogue archetype or a bard class, or you can go against those types and have a really dexterous fighter. I mean, there's really no end to what they do. And just like the other marionettes, they have that proclivity where if they catch fire, they're going to take fire damage and all of that sort of thing. Um, I just really wanted to bring forth the idea that the show puppet is really all about curiosity and being center stage. And if you're a player who really enjoys the idea of, hey, look at me, I'm going to make this character that's all about being bombastic and wide open and, just over the top almost in its performance just to catch an audience or to build an audience out of the party, that's the kind of character that is really going to shine. Now, you could also go the opposite direction and play against type. Maybe this show puppet is totally antisocial. They have stage anxiety and they're tired or they don't want to be in the center stage. And their need for freedom is they want to put that part of their life behind them and define themselves by where they are now. And so you could come up with something such as a ranger or another kind of person who may be a monk who's trying to create a new sense of identity based on this kindled life within them. A lot of different concepts can be pulled out of this show puppet personality type. And I really wanted to, from a design perspective, kind of focus in on that Pinocchio perspective. But I know a lot of players like to play against type, and there's nothing wrong with that. You want your character to be unique, and I'm 100% for that. I just wanted to point out a lot of the design principles that went into this, and a lot of really cool ways that you can draw from that to either play against type or play more closely with the common show personality traits. Remember, marionettes are a very rare species. They only occur when certain sets of conditions cause this being to come into life. And so, with that said, you can really kind of bend and shape that where each one is its own unique instance of this marionette species. No one marionette is going to be the same as others. It's just from what scholars have found, the three subtypes of companion doll, show puppet, and stuffed guardian kind of have some similar personality characteristics that have come from the way that they are presented and created. If you enjoy this or you like this, make sure to feel free to like and subscribe. Again, we always talk about our Patreon members, our patrons, the people who are kind of feeding our lifeblood as we're driving forward. We haven't made many changes to the show puppet since the last video. There's some things that I would like to talk about and kind of focus in on. For one, the increased movement for the show puppet itself, while it doesn't seem like a big deal, being a small creature that can dodge and move between medium creature spaces with that extra movement is a strong balancing point in comparison to the cantrips that the other ones get. While it may not seem like a big deal, if you happen to have, for instance, a rogue or a monk show puppet, or even a ranger show puppet, or barbarian for that matter, any of the ones that modify their movement speed based on base movement, this is going to be a compound doubling kind of thing where monks and those who can use their bonus action for, say, Step of the Wind are going to be able to effectively double this bonus. So there's a lot of different calculations that went in ahead of time to consider for the show puppet. I think the show puppet itself, while is one of the stranger ones in the subtypes, has always been one of the more grounded and well-rounded of the subspecies of marionettes. With that being said, if you like what we're doing and you want to see more, feel free to subscribe to the DGG channel. Listen to our podcast. We have a Marches game that we're developing and actively recruiting for. If you're interested in a game where you're an adult and want to play D&D but you never have enough time, stop by, listen to what we have to say about our Marches game. It may be for you. It's a mission-based game. The party may be different every day, but your actions directly help shape what the world becomes. And I think it is a really neat, creative way to help our generation of adult gamers be able to still play D&D without feeling like we're obligated to show up every weekend for a game. So, if you're interested in that, take a look at the DGG podcast and feel free to like and subscribe, comment on our content. As of right now, the Marionette subspecies and species is only available to our rare and higher Patreon members, as it's in open beta. Once it's finished being in open beta and we've received all of the feedback that we have for this particular content, it will be released for free, and the links in the description will be updated accordingly. As for right now, that's where we're sitting. Again, if you like what we're doing, I appreciate the views. So, yeah, we're just a couple of nerdy people that are trying to make this pretty awesome. All right, well, I'm gonna quit dawdling around, and y'all stay legendary. For all those players and DMs out there, I really appreciate you taking the time to listen in on this custom species, and we'll have more and more content being released. The next one that I plan on doing is the Stuff Guardian, which will be a really fun one. I've had a lot of fun with Stuff Guardian. A lot of people have fun with Stuff Guardian because it's basically the teddy bear protector of the kids, and going for or against type on that one can be really fun. All right, well, take care, y'all. And for our legendary and all of our patrons out there, I appreciate your donations and all of the things that you do for feedback. I appreciate what you do to help enhance our content and make it something worthwhile. All right, take care and have a good one, y'all. Peace.